Hello and welcome to Sunday's edition of Wardy's Waffle, the always the most watched waffle of the week, the Sunday one. I'm just walking alongside a field of wheat now, and we'll have a look at this at the minute. I'm going to be featuring most of this one on the sort of condition of our crops and how they look after all the rain, condition of the soil, dig a few holes and just look at the different cultivation systems that we've used to see what they're like and the effects of them, and also how the crops look. And we'll do that on most of this video. Also, I just wanted to highlight in this field as well the value of the drains, because you can pick every single drain out on this field that I'm walking along now, and we'll have a look at that as well to see. And also I'm going to look in at some of our wildlife areas and some of the work that we do to help wildlife and nature, songbirds, the environment, everything like that as well. So that's it. Hope you enjoy this update. Thanks very much for watching. So just looking across this field, you can see it's hugely variable, and this was spring beans this last year, and all we've done with this is use the Express, the Simba Express, across it sort of 2 to 3 inches deep, just to chop up some of the weeds that were left from the beans and just do some minimal cultivations. But you can just see here that along this headland it's not looking good because of all the rain we've had. And anyway, this is the Express, this is the machine that we used, and you can just see it doesn't do anything deep, it just does it very shallow at the top, mixes the sort of top 2 or 3 inches. But just getting back to this headland and this field, this is just typical of what we've seen at the minute and how our crops look. While I'm down this end of the field, this is one of our areas that we've got into stewardship. This is what we call a winter bird food plot. We'll look at that in a second. And here where Nala is a songbird feeder. We've got about 23 of these dotted around the farm. Lovely quiet spot here near this hedge. And you need to put them really near a hedge, because when the songbirds come on these perches, if a bird of prey comes along, which there's a lot of kestrels, sparrowhawks, buzzards around at the minute, that they'll take them. If that feeder was out in the edge here, well away from the hedge, the songbirds haven't got time to get from the feeder to here before they're snaffled up by a bird of prey. So if you put them right near a hedge, they can get into the hedge where the bird of prey can't get them. So that's why we put them always very near a hedge. But I'll just take this off and you can just see what we've got here. But these little sort of threads here and these wing nuts for the birds to perch on, they put the heads in the hole here to get the feed out. So I'll just take that off and just show you what it's like inside. So just looking at the bucket, the lid, I've just loosened it because it does take a bit of doing, you need 2 hands. So lift that lid up. So in here we've got, it's all right Nala, there's nothing in there. No, don't eat that. So in here you can see we've got some sunflower seeds there and millet as well. We put rape in with it, oilseed rape, we've put wheat. So we buy this in a mix, which I'll show you in a week or two when we mix some more, but we buy it in a mix from Frontier. We buy 250 kilograms of the sort of proper songbird mix with millet and linseed and sunflowers, and then we mix some oilseed rape and wheat with it to make up the mix, and then the songbirds eat that, and we'll fill that up probably once a week. It's amazing how quickly they use it, especially in areas like this where it's really quiet. And then I've just put the lid back on. That's the post, and there's a proper little bracket that hooks on the bucket there, and then that supports the bucket underneath, but I need 2 hands to lift it up. So that's it on the post. You can see there's a little hook at the top there, hooks on, and then that bottom there supports it underneath there. So just have a look across at this. I can't just quite remember all the different species in here, but there's a lot of different mixtures in here that will form sort of growth for the winter, and it will provide feed. They'll drop on the floor and the songbirds and wildlife will eat it. The dogs are so funny in this long grass. Nala keeps thinking she's found a shrew or a mouse or something in the grass because she keeps pouncing on all fours. What is it, Nala? And then Frankie wades in as well, but she's got her own little game going on up here. And this, actually, just looking at this, this is one of our wildlife corridors as such. We've got 8 metres of grass margin around this field. There's wildflowers in it as well. We do just need to start to get to grips with some of these because we've got some thistles in some of them coming. You can see here some thistles growing. We do need to get a selective herbicide on these thistles and just start treating these. But these have all been in and established in 2005, so a long while, but the value to them is tremendous, or to the wildlife tremendous. And you can see here we've got a ditch down the middle, a dike there down the middle, and then also another 8 metres that side. So we've probably got 8, 16, 25 metres probably altogether down this between these two fields, which is just great for wildlife and shelter and sort of partridges. I think that's why our English partridge population is increasing, because of these. So I've just mentioned about the effects of drainage. Now where you can see it in this field, looking into the sun with the camera, but my eyes pick it out. There's a green stripe through the field there at a slight angle, then there's a bare patch there, then there's another green stripe there, then another bare patch, and the bare patches are between drains and the green stripes are over the top of drains. But I'll see if I can find a drain and just show you. Actually, I can hear a drain running. Let me just see if I can find it in the dike. So the drain, I can just see the pipe there. This is the one of the dikes that Barry did out last winter. Just see the black pipe there running. You can just see the water running through. Don't know whether the microphone's picking it up, but just dead in line with that is this green stripe up there in the field. So that's where the land drains underneath there all the way to the far side. So it really does show the value of these drains. You can see the stripes all the way across here. One job Ian's doing at the minute, we're putting in another jack on here. That bit's staying on, but the internal part, that is the stem. You can see it's bent and broken. That goes up inside there, if you can see underneath there. And it goes up inside the tube there with a thread, and Ruben or Tom caught it coming out the shed door. That's the thread that goes inside. So that goes up there like that. Ian's just cut that off there to separate it, because that's got the thread mechanism on there. There you can see. So cut that bit off, and Ian's going to get another piece of box like that. Well, not exactly like that, not with a hole in. And then weld this onto it, take this apart, weld it onto it, and then put that up inside there. So all that will stay on there, and it will go up inside that tube up there with the top part of the thread coming out the top there, and then the handle, that handle will go on the top on there to wind it up and down. Just wanted to touch on something that one of the followers of this channel sent me. Thank you very much, Edward, for getting in contact. And it was some spinach that he bought in Lidl's, and it said it was from, it got Red Tractor Assurance sticker on it, but it is actually from Italy. And so thank you for sending me that photo. This is it. This is my post I've put on Twitter this morning. You can just see it's had a huge response if you can get onto Twitter and look at it. But it just highlights the example that we have continually, that Red Tractor is not fit for purpose. And it really does need a serious overhaul. When this keeps happening, and yeah, we've had Philippa Wiltshire from Red Tractor come onto it straight away this morning saying the investigation has been launched. But whether the investigation's been launched, whatever the outcomes of those investigations are, these situations keep happening, and it shouldn't happen. It's not right that it's happening. So whatever the outcomes are, whatever the penalties or whatever happens to, whether it's the processor, the packer, the supermarket, whoever's to blame for these things, whatever it is, the punishment or whatever you're doing is not working. And it just carries on, and it's just a prime example of why our assurance scheme in this country is not working and it's not fit for purpose. I just don't know what we do, but the review that we're going to be having regarding Red Tractor over the next few months, in my view, cannot come soon enough. I've just come in the field where we have had the long-term cover crop trial, and this was oats last year, spring oats, and it's one of our better fields, this one. You can see the headlands there aren't looking too bad. Not quite a full plant, but looking better than the field you've just seen. And through here, can't quite see now, you can just up there. It's a bit rougher because you might remember a few months ago, I don't know when it was now, probably early September, we soloed in here. We came in here with a solo and a press, and this is that machine just doing a strip with that, and we thought it was leaving it too rough. You can see there it is still a bit dark now, that dark stripe through the middle of the field. We only did a few rounds up and down with it, but actually when we came to drill it, when Tom drilled it, it was actually drier than anything else. Then in front of us here was the Elita and the Unipress, and then to the left of that was done with the Elita without the press on the back, but the Express first. So just a few different things, but I'll try and just show you what they are. We're just going to have a look and have a dig a few holes. Nala's having a walk out down the margins. Nala! Come on, good girl. Good girl. She is very, very good at coming back. She always has been ever since we've had her. Little Frankie's just stood there watching. Anyway, we'll go up here and just dig a hole. Good girl, Nala. So I've got the spade just going to go in there. We'll just see what it's like. I've got my ankle boots on and not Wellingtons because the top is dry. Pushing that down. Yeah, you can see that is going in really well. Just prise that up. Naturally very wet underneath. But broken up well, the soil structure has, but God, it is wet. So wet there. When you look at that, absolutely sodden. This part here was done with the Elita. You can just see there's a lot more stubble and straw here. It had the Express first, and then the Elita after that, and then our free flow drill. There has actually been some water stood here. Actually, you can just see by the straw all sort of gathered around. That's a sign that we've had some flooding here and some water stood. Yeah. Interesting, that does not go in as well. Still going in quite a few inches deep. We'll just prise that back, open that up. Very wet underneath. Look at that. Look there, look, smearing. Look at that. That just shows how wet it is. It is actually wetter than the soloed area because the machine's different. Very sodden here, look at that. Just when you look down the rows there, you can actually see the wheat rows looking quite good there. It's just that the volume of straw here is much greater than it is just here, because this machine, the Solo, does mix it more, it buries it more. Right, we'll just head across the track now. And you see that looks all right up there on the headlands. Head across the track. Ruben and Tom have done these up the last couple of days, just put a few planings down and just levelled them out with the grader. Well, all it is like an old drag with a beam on the back, and just done a fair bit of good at that and filled the holes in. So that'll be good now until the summer, till we get the planings done properly. This field was done with the Solo, and this is coming sugar beet. Didn't have the press behind, just the Solo on its own. And quite rough, yes, but that's fine, that's good. You can just see here how the air's getting into the soil. Already it's starting to dry in the top. And that'll be fine when it gets into the spring. But move that lump underneath there. Thanks, Nala. Move, Nala, get your nose out of the way. That is really wet under there. But this field now won't be touched until next March, coming sugar beet. So it's in really good condition. It's rough, it's open, so the water will drain through it, and it will be good for next spring. We don't plough anything here. I haven't ploughed since 2005. That goes straight in there. Just open that up. Nala, come out. Oh, lot of straw. Nala, come on out. That is just sodden. You can hear it. Look at that. That's the wet straw, that's how wet it is underneath. I'm just coming into field now where this is a continuous wheat field, and it was done with the Solo again in end of August, early September. But I'll just flick the phone round. We've got a lot of straw washed up here because there was a lot of water stood on this field. And this overlay now of this little clip was this field on the evening of October the 20th, all that rain. So you can see how it stood it, but the water was on top here for a few hours or 2 or 3 days. So the green in it is self-set, or volunteers as we call it, come out the combine. Here's the washed up straw. You can see because of all the water that you saw a second ago that was on here. But it's weathered well, this field. Soloed a lot different to the one you saw a few seconds ago because it was done earlier and it's had a lot more weather on it. but this is just wheat volunteers that's come out the back of the combine. You've heard me talk about this before, those non-farmers who watch this. Volunteers could be chippings of grain, parts of grain where the kernel is, that they've got the growing point. They just grow, anything grows really, any real small shriveled up grain will grow, and also there's odd good grains as well come out the combine. We can't drill into this as it is, it needs spraying with glyphosate, which it will get done anyway, so because I still don't think we'll get any of this planting with winter wheat at all now, and it was spring crops, but this still wants to be sprayed off. I always like to see these sprayed off before Christmas for blackgrass control, because there will be some blackgrass in here. I can't see much, but there will be some despite our policy of roguing and not having any blackgrass seeding to harvest. Lift that up. That is in really good condition under there. See, there's a worm there. But that, look how that just falls apart there. Cracking condition, that is. Really pleased with that, despite having that water on that you saw a minute ago. So that'll be good. We don't want to force this. It wants the time to dry. But yeah, that is really good condition. That is a lot drier than I thought. So all these fields that we've looked at, around about 55% clay, probably 35% silt, and then the rest sand. So as heavy as you can get really. And the problem we've got is the silt particles are a lot finer than clay particles, and they'll wash through and block up the clay particles and hinder the drainage. And this is the problem when we've got soils that's got high clay and silt content. We've tried the last few years, 2 or 3 years, to move less soil, cheapen how we grow things, cheapen the establishment cost by moving less soil, direct drilling some. But I must say, looking around here at the minute, I don't think I've seen our farm as wet as this for years, and it really does, I think, just prove to me that we do need to go back to some slightly deeper cultivation. So I think this year, I've already discussed it with Tom and Ruben, we are going to be putting the solo through absolutely every single field we've got and really get to grips with this. Because when you look at here behind me, this headland here, just put the spade down, this headland here, if you look at that, there's just absolutely nothing growing there. The patch of water out here, we'll have a look at that in a second here behind me. Somewhere you can't quite see it, but I don't think as our land's as wet as this, and I've never seen it as wet as this, and I don't know what my father would say if he was still around. And I think he would always have he would say, I told you, boy, you shouldn't be doing this. You can't beat getting your water away. I mean, that's one reason why we're doing the dikes as well. But yeah, I just think that our land at the minute is as wet as I've ever seen it. And I'm sure it's partly to do with the fact that we're reducing the cultivations and not disturbing as much underneath. Obviously the rainfall we've had a big part in that, but when you look at these headlands, we're not going to have a very good harvest this year, which again is the second one on the trot, because this last one was only fairly average. So looking here, you can just see how compacted this is. Let's just dig a bit of a hole here, and it's not a heavy field, this one. Oh Christ, it's solid there. And that's the outsides where the drill turns on. Look at that, I can't get the spade in anywhere near at all, and it's not what you call difficult soils this, but it is solid. Yeah. Plates, that's a sign. It's when you look at that, how it comes across in a plate like that, whereas the last hole we saw dug was just lovely easy working soil. Look at that, how it's split horizontally there. That shows what it's like underneath. We'll just go and have a look at this wet spot across there. Just while I'm here, just to explain this this soil. This is the soil out the pond, and you can see Barry's been here and heaped it up a bit. So we are going to wait till next harvest and spread it on some of the fields, which will take some doing, but that's what the aim of it to do, and get rid of it. So that's come out the pond. I don't know where Frankie's gone. She's behind there somewhere. Frankie, come on! Come on! There she is. So we've got a patch there that's no crop on it, but had water stood on it just in front of Nala. Not going to go too close because it is wet. I haven't got my Wellingtons on. And then we've got that patch there. And another bare patch there. And this field was spring beans, you can tell by the stubble. That's bean stubble. All that this had again was very shallow, done with the Simba Express. Really shallow. Look here, there's virtually nothing just here. And again, I think this is the problem. Not a heavy field, as I just said. easy-ish soil. We'll grow sugar beet in this soil. Nala, don't go in there. Come on, good girl. Come on. So just coming into this wet area. We'll just dig down here and just see what it's like. Yeah, not very good underneath. Not a heavy part of the field either, this. This area here, it's probably only about 35% clay. I've now come to the field that we had sugar beet in, and you remember seeing us lift that. We lifted 45 acres in one go and got it in the factory a few days later, and we did manage to get it drilled. All the crops I've just showed you, the wheats that we've just looked at, were planted around about the 12th, 13th, 14th of October, including these. And I thought they'd be all right with the rain because they were planted soon enough before the rain came on October the 20th, but unfortunately not. So that area is where the sugar beet cleaner loader was loading the lorries. Remember, we had sugar beet piled up in the field here. You can just see, looking at the edge of this field, consolidated despite being loosened properly here. Water on the tram line there. That's that wet hole that Barry tried to do something with. We really need to get to grips with this, what we're going to do. But there is a pipe. We found the drainage plans. There is a pipe full length this field. So we're going to have to set about this winter and have a look at this and just find it. But when you look here, not a lot here. And some of the wheat that is here, you can see it's going a bit yellowy when you look at that. And I think it's picking up the pre-em herbicides. So the herbicides that we put on here straight after drilling, because of the rain, it's washed it around the roots, and these wheats are picking it up, and that's why I think it looks a little bit sad as well. But you can just see it doesn't look very good at all. It's really run together, the soil, when you look at that, and not difficult soil here. Lovely field, this one, but big area here with not a lot of wheat in. Just down here, this is the job Barry's going to be doing this next. We're going to start it in the new year. We're going to get the flail head on. We're going to take all these bushes and trees right back because they are overhanging the water, you can see, and this needs doing out properly. It hasn't been done for probably 20 years, so we're going to make a real do of this. It will open it up, but I'm afraid that's what you have to do to manage it and make the water flow. So we will do that, and within a few months, within a year, it will come all back. But we're going to leave all those trees, but it's that bit that's overhanging the water there we're going to take out, and the same on the other side. So this is another field, but this one is looking really good actually. Little bit on the corners here, but generally good, apart from right on that headland, which we'll go and have a look at near the trees. And along, there's a riverbank just up there, along near the edge of the river. But generally, this piece is good, really. So that's it for this waffle. Thanks ever so much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed a bit of a look around some of the crops. As you can see, they're not looking very special at all. We have got some better ones, which I'll do in the update, in the midweek update next week. Also next week should be interesting. I'm going to Ireland on Tuesday night, courtesy of Omex. Got a few meetings to talk at in various places in Ireland, and I'll be over there from Tuesday night until Friday morning. So if some of you are there, great to come up and see you, and please come and say hello. We'll have a chat, and looking forward to that, looking around some of the farms and talking to some farmers. And I'm also in Ireland again in February, I think it is, with BASF. They're doing a series of farmer meetings and talks, discussion groups in Southern Ireland. This is in February, and I'll be going over there for probably 3 days as well. So look forward to seeing you in February if I don't catch up with you this next time. So a couple of trips to Ireland in the next few weeks that we're really looking forward to. Anyway, that's it for this That's it for this Sunday update. Thanks very much for watching, and we will see you midweek.